So, welcome to another series that I'm doing. I'm going to be calling it Fatass Makes Food because, yeah, I am overweight and I do need to do better, but might as well make some content out of it while I can. And for this one, I'm making one of my favorite foods, if not my absolute favorite food, salmon. Alright, get my pocket knife to cut this open. Remember, look at how I have my knife. This is away from my skin. Just, no, I don't care how much of a professional you may be with knives. Any professional will also tell you, always cut away from yourself and anyone else. Then, now that there's a good enough hole, just gotta let some of those juices out in the sink. And keep cutting this until it's a big enough opening for the salmon to come out. There we go. Alright. Now, I usually like to have two fillets when I make my salmon. That one was a much easier cut through. Same thing with the last one, let some of the excess juice drain out in the sink. And now, I always hear everyone saying that the skin's the best part of the salmon. I have no objections against that because, in order for the skin to be truly really good on salmon, it needs to be scored. But none of my knives are sharp enough to actually properly score the skin, so I can't, unfortunately, have the salmon at its best with the skin in perfect shape. Alright, wash that off. And whenever you put your knives up, please just always make sure, no matter, if it's a cabinet like me or a knife brick, just always make sure it's facing away from everyone. And then, alright, gotta sift through to get all of my seasonings that I use. Shit, I need to get some more garlic salt. Alright. Close that. And then, there they are. Always gotta grab one of these. Come on, get on there. There. There we go. Lemon. And that should be it. Now, this is what I always like to do. Just get to the halfway point, take your knife. Always hold your hand at the top. Never move your hand down. And if you're cutting like this, make sure your knuckles are out in front instead of your fingers. That way if you cut anything, it's just going to be the tip with your knuckles. And then, next thing I normally do is just take the seeds out with a knife. This is probably going to be the easiest part, so I don't need to show it there. But yeah, it'll be just a bit while I do this. Damn, this lemon has a lot more seeds than some of the other ones. Come on, get out of there. Get out of there. There we go. Damn, how many seeds are gonna be in this? That's a 2-for-1. Alright, sorry, it took a while to get all the seeds out, but finally. And that's just one half. But yeah. Take the first half, squeeze it over the top half of the fillets. Make sure to get as much out as you can. And of course, one seed managed to stay in there and not be seen. Come on, get out of there. There we go. Alright, so take those to the trash. Then I gotta get the seeds out of the other half. I'm glad that didn't go straight in my eye, because that would have stung quite a bit. And let me clarify, that was lemon juices getting everywhere, and I was trying to get one of the seeds out. Got close to my eye, but thankfully not in it. Come on, get out of there. Trying to hide deep in there, but I won't let you. Alright, I think that's it for this half. So then, obviously, gotta flip it over. Squeeze the other half of the lemon on the other half of the salmon. Okay, and even though I spent more time digging through this one to make sure there was nothing, more ended up sticking in. Great. Come on, get all those seeds out of there. And I haven't tried the store-bought lemon juice yet on these because, like, not lemonade, but actual lemon juice. Just because I bought the lemons first and I want to actually go through all the lemons. But then what I do after that is I just drain the plate of the rest of the juices. And here's where I start my seasoning. Pepper. Salt. Garlic salt. Garlic powder. onion powder, chili powder, and some paprika. And this one always wants to stick in the bottle for me for some reason. So I gotta be a bit harsher with it to try to make it come out of the bottle. But obviously, especially with it being skinless salmon, you can't just season one side, so flip it over. And do it again. Pepper. Salt. Garlic salt. Garlic powder. Onion powder. Chili powder. And paprika again. Then, always gotta make sure you get your shit put back up. That way, you have a relatively clean area. Get some oil. I prefer to use vegetable oil because it's the only oil I've ever used. But if you think something like olive oil or algae oil, avocado oil, something like that would work, feel free, go ahead. Just not too much. Then I just let it slosh around in the pan to where it covers everything. Because I don't want it to get stuck. Boom. And there we go. As you can see, nice and covering the whole pan. So, now, I always like to take a spatula so I can flip the salmon. Start off by, if you have a gas stove like I do, put it on max heat until the flame starts, and then take it back down to medium immediately. Put the salmon on there, and now is when you work on your sides. So, I oftentimes like to do a side of mixed fruits, but I also like to do my purees, so. If you give me just a second, I'll be back with something. Alright, I am back. What I have here that I just got from the fridge before getting a spoon is a puree of mixed nut. And before all the nut jokes that are supposed to be sex euphemisms. But yeah, I really like using that to kind of decorate the plate around the salmon. But I don't know how long that's good in the fridge. I hope that it doesn't go bad quickly. Because that puree's been in there for a few days. Because I made too much. But anyway. Next up. I take my blender. And I always like to do, when I do my fruit mixes, whether it be for the purees or the sides, blackberries, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries. I like the nice combination of the flavors. Think, like, it's a nice amount of acidity. It's not too much. It's not too little. It has a nice amount of sweetness. Not too tart. Get the blueberries in there. Oh great, some of these raspberries are moldy. That entire clump. Are the rest of these any good? Alright, so we have barely any raspberries that are good. But fruit's expensive. If I get sick, oh well. I'm not throwing the whole thing out. That would be fucking crazy. Then, as you may be able to hear, my salmon starting to sizzle a bit. Alright, that singular strawberry is already moldy. And I got these less than a week ago. Gotta cut up these strawberries, or at least cut the stems off before putting them in. Alright. Get those fruits back in the fridge. Got the nice mixture there. Get some milk in there. I'm gonna keep the milk out for just a bit longer. Like, not enough for it to go bad, thankfully, but just in case this doesn't end up being enough. But the milk makes it much easier for it to actually fully blend through properly. Alright. There we go. Nice purplish color. It blended beautifully. Let's see, which one is this one? Alright. And now, since I'm using the mixed fruits as much more of a puree than a side, I decided for my side I'd use one of these Greek yogurts. I always put a bit of honey in there. That's nice. Mix this up. And don't worry, my salmon's not burning. Alright, check this. Isn't even close to flipping yet. It's getting a bit darker, some of that nice coloration, but not ready to flip yet. So, let's do this. Yeah, I need to get myself some peaches and mangoes soon. That way I can try more puree with those. Oh, that's good. Alright. I'm going to mix some of this into the Greek yogurt as well. See how that makes it work. And then I'm probably just going to drink the rest like a smoothie alongside this. Oh yeah. That puree works so well if I just add like a liquid extra to the Greek yogurts. Mix it in there. Alright. Get a cup. Pour the rest of this in there just to drink it normally. And then obviously you have to wash it all out. Don't just be a slob, even though, to be fair, oftentimes I am. But not when it comes to washing these out. There was one time where I did it for too long. I instantly regretted it once I did clean it. And I am not going back to that again. So I'm just going to twist this back on. I have my side. I have my puree. Is there anything for the next few days for me to make? I have a couple frozen meals, have some bacon, that both in my fridge and my freezer. I can make burgers again, I can make burritos again, okay. I can make steak. It's been a while since I've had some fucking pork. Ooh. Alright. Sorry, just thinking. As my salmon cooks. That's good shit. Alright, I think that's about time to flip them over. turn the heat up just a bit. But yeah. You don't want it to just cook the outsides and then the inside still be raw as hell. But just allow the seasonings to char onto it a bit. Okay. I gotta be careful because it's bubbling a bit. And I did not bring my apron into the kitchen with me, even though the kitchen's right next to my living room, which has the apron somewhere. There it is. Yep, see? This is something that I won for myself back when I was working at Taco Bell. It was back when all the cantina items were first coming to the menu, or first returning to the menu, rather, and we had a little competition to see who could portion the best, and I came in first. All right. Lay that back down. Speaking of work, it's about time I look for another job again. Granted, this time I'm not quitting before I do because, well, we saw how that ended up last time with me being unemployed for 2 months, but yeah. None of my scheduling needs are, like, they said that they would try to meet them, and then they didn't. They don't pay worth shit. They expect people to go above and beyond when they're not paying shit. I'm sorry, I'm going to act my wage. However much I am paid, I'm going to act like that. So I'm getting paid $12.85 an hour, despite having 3 years of experience in the workforce. I'm going to do work that reflects that. I'm not going to go above and beyond. I'm just going to do my job and get out. And them wanting to expect more, that's only going to hurt them in the long run. Alright, let's check this side. Alright, I think that's done. Move this off the burner. And just let the oil fall back to the pan. There we go. Alright. Then you can't just leave those crispy charred bits of seasoning out of there entirely. So, what do? You get those charred bits of seasoning out and just slowly portion them across the top. Because as with most things, the seasoning is where all the flavor's at. Bland food is a no-go. Like, to me, bland food and bad food, there's barely anything separating the two. Alright, I should do a bit more of the puree on that for presentation. Because it's not really evenly spread out now. Alright. And here we have it. With the side of Greek yogurt with some of that puree put in. Main course of salmon with some of the puree. And the puree is just for presentation reasons, really. But gotta make it look pretty, come on. Now, to take these top parts of the strawberries and throw them out. Take this off. And now, the most important part, to take one bite. Dig in. Oh. And that is why salmon is my favorite food.